It keeps saying that it's starting, and now the actual broadcast happens. But planning's for chumps. Don't worry about that stuff. DJ,
Chumps.
Miguel,
This is me.
and then I'm Kevin. Okay, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing just fine and dandy.
Yeah, Miguel, what about you and your life partner back there? How are you guys doing?
He's on his phone explaining how the Chromecast works to his best friend.
Chromecast is pretty nifty.
He really just wanted to buy it for someone, so he impulsively bought it for his friend, and she's like 50 years old and she doesn't know how to use anything.
Yeah, it's gonna seem too much like. But it's so easy, and I guess we're to the point though that it's not like sold out in a lot of stores. But
it's like one step beyond the complexity of a Roku player, which is already not complex.
Yeah, except I don't know. My apartment complex decides to make it complex, but whatever. So this is another super awesome Hangout type thing done through Pixel Loadout, where we talk about sports, news, Beyonce, cooking, Rambos. But we're gonna take a break from all that and do something different this week and talk about video games instead.
Video games? What are these video games?
Yeah, what's a video game?
It's something all the kids are playing now. I heard a lot of kids this past weekend were actually playing video games.
Is it like that ping pong game from way back when?
Yeah, with the 2 paddles and whatnot and the knobs. But yes, so some competitive stuff. So Evo was this past weekend. I watched a little bit of it. You guys apparently watched a lot more of it. How was it?
I watched all the way through from the first day on Friday, and Jesus, there was over 2,000 people for the Street Fighter alone, and they got to top 8 in one day.
So is it safe to say that Street Fighter 4 Ultra was the most popular thing there?
Oh, of course. The second most popular game was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that had just over 1,000.
So I guess the real question then, why are all other fighters' failures compared to Street Fighter 4 Ultra then?
What? Wait, are you saying like
why hasn't anything else reached that level?
Bandai Namco stuff and things?
Because Street Fighter sort of hit that mark where it's just as competitive and
mass. Is that what it is?
Okay, well I'll tell you this. Okay, so Street Fighter 4 came out when there was an epic drought of viable fighting games. Before Street Fighter 4 came out, people were still playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which was almost like a 10-year-old game at the time, and people were also still playing Super Smash Bros. Melee. But at the time, both of those themes were separate. They existed in their own little niches. The Street Fighters were mostly people who grew up on Street Fighter 2, who came from the arcade cabinets, and Super Smash Bros. Was mostly people who grew up with the N64 as one of their first or second consoles. So Street Fighter 4 came out and it reintroduced an at-home, easily accessible fighting game. By that I mean that it has a very intuitive learning curve, and that you don't have to be especially adept at the game to do more of the nuanced things, but it's like one of those easy to play, hard to master kind of games. While things like Tekken, just things are happening, and Marvel, that people consider. Okay, so this was a quote from Mike Ross earlier this week. He said that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is a single-player game, just like Super Mario World is a single-player game. Is a multiplayer game where every person takes turns, like Mario goes and then Luigi goes.
So it's turn-based or something?
Well, the issue with Marvel is that one person gets a hit, and then that's the game.
Yeah, that is true. There's no way to break out of a combo. Once you're stuck in one, unless the other person misses a hit and the other player drops, you can be comboed from full health to gone.
There are mechanics that kind of prevent it. Like if you try to do a team assist switch type thing when you're being comboed in the air, if you hit the right direction, you'll cancel their combo. But if that does succeed, that lets the other player have the opportunity to just infinite you to death.
I feel like I need a graph or flow chart. I even without understanding all the nuances and stuff, I did catch the end of Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with Justin Wong doing it.
Oh my gosh, Justin! How does he do it? How does he do it?
So his comeback this year, and that was impressive.
Versus Filipino champ. He was down 2 characters. This was the final round. and well, not round, but final game, I think. And he had Akuma versus Doom and Phoenix, who had just gone Dark Phoenix, and he just supers with Akuma, X Factors, and wins.
Cool.
And if you look at the video, Filipino champ is so frustrated that he basically like throws his like arcade stick off of his lap.
I didn't catch that because I was too busy watching Justin Wong roll on the floor.
It was great. He's the champion. The king is back.
Mm-hmm. That's what they kept saying, anyways. And so I guess, what do you think now about? You were telling me before we were watching that Rose is so good. Apparently, Rose is the best now.
Oh my! Right, I told you that Rose got a lot of buffs, and apparently she got so buffed that she ran away with Super.
And now everybody is like calling to nerf her now. She's too
good. People are just butthurt.
Okay.
The thing is, if any character were to win Ultra Street Fighter 4, the response would be they need to be nerfed. Like that's just how it's gonna work. It's just this guy. He's from Europe.
Is he from France?
He's from France, yeah. Luffy, he's from France, and France. The UK has one of the strongest Sagat players in the world. His name is Ryan Hart. So he probably has tons of experience with high-level Sagat players, and this guy they played against probably is not as informed against Rose players as Ryan Hart would be.
So Rose essentially was the dark horse then for nobody thought that she was going to come up out of, because she was really low tier beforehand.
She was mid tier before, and now she's kind of considered, before Evo she was considered like upper middle tier kind of, or lower upper tier. But yeah, she hits hard now. So and he even does Ultra 1 sometimes, which before no one ever used Ultra 1.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Are there any other Evo highlights you feel like pointing out?
Well, okay, some fun facts. This is the first Street Fighter 4 tournament where the winner came from losers bracket.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he went through 11 losers games to finally beat grand finals. This is also the first Street Fighter 4 tournament where a non-Asian has won. Non-Asian being that he doesn't live in Asia, but he's French, but he's like French Asian. And this is also the first tournament. No, I mean like he isn't from Asia. He's just Asian by ethnicity.
It's just this. I guess it's an odd sort of combination of ethnicities to hear. It's like those Starburst Scotch Korean commercials.
It's like saying that all black people in the United States are African American. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It's just sort of, now Asians have sort of taken on this stereotype of being insanely good at video games, that they always win.
If you think about it, actually, only this is the first Evo where all 5 Japanese fighting game gods, what they're considered the fighting game gods, they were at Evo. Because they're like, at one time or another, they were the absolute best at whatever fighting game they were in. Sako was in top 8. Only 2 of them managed to make it to top 8, but Luffy still came out on top. But and then the third fact is this is the first Street Fighter 4 Evo tournament where a female character won the tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But I mean, like, genders in fighting games have no real bearing. I think that's you listed it right as a fun fact, but
well, I mean. That's not true that they don't have a bearing, because generally speaking, female characters have lower HP.
Is that okay? So that statistic still sticks around then? Because
in Street Fighter 4, Vitality is a thing. Like in Killer Instinct, I think, and other games, all characters have like the same amount of health. And Street Fighter and in Capcom fighters in general, they have varying health. And she has like I think a little over, like she has just under or right at medium health.
And but there's still some male characters that buck that trend. Doesn't Akuma also have on the lower health?
Akuma has low health, and so does Seth, but both of them hit like trucks. She doesn't hit like a truck. She just has a bit more maneuverability and fireballs. So she's like, female characters in general are weaker, but they have like
they're
secondary
trickier.
things.
Oh God, Capcom, you're so progressive.
They're tricks.
Are there any other big like highlights that you think are worth checking out on Twitch right now, or DJ? Was there any other stuff that you saw during that day that you stood out for you?
I watched a good bit of the Injustice tournament. I also watched some Smash Brothers. Aquaman and Catwoman are still really good.
Aquaman.
I'm wet.
Catwoman is still like Catwoman was my main when I played Injustice, but she's still like one of those characters that people don't want to admit that she's good, but she is good.
But didn't Batgirl, or was it Batgirl? Didn't she end up being the champ for?
I think
Injustice?
Batgirl was the champ.
Yeah, she won the tournament. But the thing is, another weird thing about it was Injustice was the only official tournament that wasn't held on finals day. Like they had finals on Saturday, not on Sunday.
Okay. So yeah, anything else that was cool, DJ? Or?
They announced Raiden for Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
X.
So I guess you want to go through all the fighting announcements then. So let's start with Raiden. So he's projectile, and what are his other two stances?
He has electrocution, teleport, and then I forget what the third one was.
So he has a whole playstyle just around the thing that people gripe about the most in Mortal Kombat is just everybody teleport now.
Not necessarily.
Teleport Raiden.
Teleport's just like he only gets teleports if he selects that. The only move that I saw that crosses all of the playstyles was his little tackle where he does
because that thing is like that's signature Raiden if you go.
His third playstyle was he sets traps and then he can do something
sort of like Trish or Doctor Strange in Ultimate Marvel. He just sort of sets down lightning bolts, and depending on where he sets them, they'll connect.
So was that a character that before that they had already shown off that he was fighting?
Yeah.
It seems so. I mean, no one was talking about him, so I just figured that wasn't new.
Yeah.
So this is another one of the times we've actually got to see a few more of the X-ray stuff, and it seems faster than it was before, right?
They did say Mortal Kombat 10 is. I think they said it's like 10 or 15% faster than the last game, so the fighting is actually faster.
It looks like Injustice speed. Like that game just looks like the Injustice sequel.
Yeah, basically.
I didn't play a lot of Raiden back in MK9. Does anybody have any more thing that's worth talking about for it? Or?
I mean, I really like what they're doing with the character variations, because even if there's one character that you're not very good with, you might be good with one of their variations. Like I didn't like Raiden very much, but I might actually play him now.
One of my worries is because what was that game? Melty Blood has something very similar with the moon system, where you pick a character and then you pick what kind of moon they are, and that picks what their playstyle is. And what I'm afraid of is this is going to happen, but I'm not going to enjoy this. Like there's just going to be a playstyle that is going to be that character. If you ever want to play this character competitively, you can only pick this one playstyle.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case, though, because if one becomes so popular that nobody trains against the other style, somebody could come in from behind, right?
I mean, this is true. It does add a lot of variety and complexity in learning the matchups, but I'm just afraid that it's an inevitability that they're going to... Well, Raiden seems probably like the most different of all, because he has teleports in one of his, which is like a huge deal, and then he has fireballs with the other one. But for the other characters that I've seen, they haven't been quite dramatic a change.
How on top of the ball has NetherRealm been when it comes to balancing their fighters?
They've gotten a lot better. Plus, they said they're going to bring a lot of the pros in from EVO and have them just break the game.
Whatever, that doesn't matter. Plenty of games have done that recently, and the games still come out fucking broken.
Well, I guess if everybody does have that many playstyles, that many characters, I imagine it'd be a nightmare to try to balance everybody.
Yep, it is.
Well, I'm waiting for the character where they reveal where it's the exact Deathstroke playstyle, and it makes me never want to play that game online. I know Striker. That's it. Striker is going to have just a more guns stance. It's just guns, and more.
Did you say Morrigan?
More guns.
Because Morrigan was MORGUNZZZ11. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So next reveal, I think that was technically from Evo Tekken 7.
Tekken 7. We.
Hooray!
It's in the Unreal 3 or Unreal 4 engine, I think.
An Unreal engine. I think it's Unreal 4.
Yeah.
And there was no gameplay. Somebody killed somebody's mom.
It was just an announcement. Oh yeah, it was Jin Kazama was talking about Heihachi and how he killed Jun Kazama, which is his mother. And
I'm a little bit confused because I don't believe I've ever heard Jin talk in English before, and there was definitely somebody talking in English.
Maybe he fucking finally picked up a fucking book and learns English.
No, like Tekken has never like whitewashed everybody into speaking English. Like they will talk in their distinct language. Whatever. It was probably just for the presentation, but I'm not a Tekken fanboy. I swear to God, I'm not.
I'm pretty sure that there are Tekken games out there where the Asian characters do speak English. Because I'm pretty sure that I've played. My favorite character is Xiao Yu, and she's Asian, but I'm pretty sure that there are cutscenes where she speaks English.
I can almost promise you that, and I've made some really bad bets before, but you go to any of the main canon like Tekken games, you'll never hear Jin at least speaking English, but whatever. God, your keyboard's so loud, the camera keeps flicking back to you, DJ.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, but that's way more time on Tekken than we should have spent anyways. Okay, Smash Brothers came out, I think this morning, so that wasn't technically part of EVO, right?
Yeah, it wasn't part of EVO. It was post EVO. EVO did have Project Super Smash Bros. Melee. There were side tournaments for like Project M and Brawl and other games like Skullgirls and things like that.
But I'm talking about like the character reveal that they did.
No, that was post EVO.
Yeah, so we've got Captain Falcon's confirmed now.
Yes.
And
Who was afraid of that?
Right. And 2 Fire Emblem characters, though. We get Lucina, which made a lot of the Crom fans upset.
So Marth is confirmed.
Well, yeah. I think we're up to 4 Fire Emblem characters now, because we have Ike as well, and now Robin, which is the player avatar from Fire Emblem Awakening.
So my friend and I couldn't fucking make sense out of this because we were making meta jokes. Like, we always called Martha.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, Martha confirmed, saying that Lucina is a female Marth. And he's like, no, Marth was confirmed because Marth is the female Marth.
Right, okay.
It was so confusing.
It is kind of weird because at the beginning of Awakening, and this is, I guess, minor spoilers, but if you don't see this when you play Fire Emblem from a year ago, you're kind of an idiot. But, like, she, like, is disguised herself as Marth or something like that. And it's, I think there might be a little bit too much Fire Emblem.
Is that her daddy?
Huh? No, Crom is the guy that's on the ground in that trailer. That's her dad.
I'm so confused.
So what's her relation to Marth?
She just dresses up like Marth. She's disguised. She's a time traveler, and she doesn't want to reveal her secret identity or something like that.
Oh, jeez, who would ever fall for that?
But it's like that trailer has a lot of like really funny meta humor because everybody was betting that Crom was going to be he was one of the top like characters that everybody thought was going to end up being, and at the end of the trailer he's like, when will I get my chance? And it turns out that he's actually part of somebody's Ultimate Smash. So, but I am psyched because like the player avatar character from
Robin.
Oh wait, yeah, Robin is the default name on it. You get both the male and the female version, which I think is fantastic.
So Sakurai or Nintendo or whatever, they release information as to why Lucina has her own slot, which I think is the stupidest reason. And the reason was because she is slightly smaller and she doesn't have a fucking stabby, an edge.
Oh, okay.
Why am I forgetting these terms?
She
doesn't have like the sharp edge that Marth has. Instead, her entire sword does the same amount of damage.
Oh, okay. So it's
it's like these minor changes to her, meaning I don't know.
But she is supposed to have the same sort of moveset as Marth.
She apparently has the identical moveset as Marth.
I mean, like, it was kind of like that a little bit with Melee with Roy and Marth, but there was still some pretty major differences in the playstyle.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, from simple to more complicated, like, even some of their moves are different, but that's whatever. Like,
my hope is
didn't have a tipper.
That's right, my hope is that they're not really telling us the full story of that, and you looking at a more drastic difference as it is, like, Roy to Marth and Melee compared to...
I hope that Lucina, she's smaller and she doesn't have a tipper, which means that she's a little bit weaker. I hope that she's faster, like she has faster combos. Like, if that's what she has, then I'm perfectly fine with it. But otherwise, I think it's a waste of development time.
It does seem like a whole slot that could have been taken away from giving like the fan favorite of Ridley that everybody still wants in Smash.
No
for
one
some
wants
reason.
Ridley.
Everybody wants Ridley.
No one wants. They don't know what they want.
He's too big. I don't know what Robin's going to play like because Fire Emblem game is supposed to be like uses magic, uses weapons as well. It looks like it's some sort of mix-up between PK Thunder Kid, Ness and I don't know.
Ness and
Lucas.
Yeah, I think they revealed some of the mechanic stuff. We can only use the tomes like a few times and has to either replenish it or something like that. Yeah.
I like that they're like actually adding a bit more depth into the characters themselves. Like, but before the meta for the game even comes, there's already depth in the characters, like Little Mac and stuff.
Right. Was there anything else that was for fighter stuff that is worth talking about?
Skullgirl's Encore is coming out for PS4 and PS Vita with 5 new characters, but that's all I can think of.
5 new characters.
Yep.
How many of them are actually going to be girls? Because there's like
4.
4. Wait, so we're getting another dude?
Yeah.
So that'll be what the band guy and.
No. Band is already out.
Oh, so Big Band is one of them. Then
No. There are 5 characters. One is a new male character, not Big Band.
Okay. Now that's just basest. I mean, if you've not seen that trailer, it's so good.
So funny.
It's so punny. Cool. So I guess what do we say we get into a little bit of news stuff? This week we have Destiny beta is supposed to start up.
I can't wait. I didn't have. Okay, so on Thursday last week I lost my wallet, which really fucked me over because I was going to pre-order the game last week so I could have the beta. And I got paid today, and I did all that today, and I even got all the cards, and I'm just waiting. And Thursday cannot come soon enough.
Cool. I'm hoping I'll go over there and play some with you because I really don't feel like buying a month of gold just to try that out. I only get it for 4 days too. What's up with that?
You get 3 codes with each. You get 3 download codes so you can share with your friends, but they're restricted to your own platform of choice.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it makes kind of sense because a fire team is made up of 3 players, so you're inviting 2 other players to fill up your fire team.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's no cross-play available, I mean, it makes sense from their perspective, but they're giving away free codes. That's not a problem.
Right. Well, it's good that you don't have to pre-order it now. DJ, are you going to participate in said beta?
If I get key, I will. I don't have one, and I didn't pre-order the game.
Oh, you know what? Actually, if I did like submit my key stuff, I may not be planning to play on my platform, but I can probably send you a beta key if that's the fire team stuff. So
that's cool. It's not that I don't want to play Destiny. It's just I don't know what platform I want to play it on yet.
That's fair.
Well, I mean, it's just the beta. Just get a feel for the game. It's not that big a deal.
No, that's true. I just don't like to cancel pre-orders if I'm gonna get something, but. Pre-orders are evil, and we'll talk about that soon enough.
Right,
I
guess.
I wonder why.
Like, this whole argument that's been about like the war against pre-orders, like in the back of my mind, I'm always like, I've never had a problem at GameStop where they just like, hey, I forgot to pick up my pre-order. Can I move that $5 to something else? They're like, yeah, sure.
And that's not the problem with it.
I don't mind pre-orders. I mind. Someone's gonna fucking say it.
Okay.
DJ, you say it. You look like you want to say it.
Oh, what? It depends. What is it?
I don't mind pre-orders because I understand the reason why you'd want it. Either because it's a highly popular game and you want to guarantee that you have a copy on release day, or you're on Amazon or some sort of online retailer where they will mail it early and you'll receive it in the mail the day it's released, or even earlier because sometimes they break street date. But pre-order DLC. Like, exclusive pre-order DLC, I don't fucking like. I think that's such bullshit.
So, classically, I'm behind the idea of pre-ordering if something's going to be in limited quantity and you want to get it on the night of release. There's been quite a few games that have done that, and I know that you've done that as well, DJ, I'm sure. The pre-order DLCs, though, I feel like is now a relic of... It's the last bastion of brick and mortar being able to get your money or like get your business when digital like retail is so rampant now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Oh, sorry. Go on, DJ.
Oh, no, that's my main issue with it. It's just I don't mind promotional DLC, like especially if it doesn't necessarily break the game. It's just something that looks flashy. But at the same time, I think it's kind of ridiculous to cut content out of the game and promote it as pre-order DLC. Kevin, I know how badly it pains you that you will never ever get that collector armor you so desire. Or that Terminus armor.
I can't believe they never released that, but whatever.
I have no issue, generally speaking. I mean, there are some exceptions. I have no issue with pre-order DLC as long as it's not exclusive to pre-orders. I like the incentive to get it early if I'm going to get these 1 or 2 packs free. Like, let's say a new shooter comes out and you get like an extra DLC map for free by pre-ordering it. But if I cannot actually get that map or costume or whatever, or that bit of content, because I was not an early adopter, I think that's bullshit.
Yeah, like timed exclusive content, I could get that. But and that's what they're saying with the Alien Isolation DLC. Like, you can pre-order it and you'll get this DLC, but you can also download it later. So I don't view it as much of a big deal, but I think people would be crazy to pre-order an Aliens game after the last one.
After the last one?
Yeah, it's some really good-looking DLC, and from what the studio that's working on it right now, and what I've heard from like E3 Play4 stuff, like is looking like it's going to be a pretty good sort of horror survival game involving an alien, not an aliens, but yes. Colonial Marines has very much tarnished Sega. The Aliens franchise.
Was it really Aliens that tarnished Sega? Weren't they already kind of...
Colonial Marines? I mean, Sega has been doing no favors for themselves for a long time now, but this has not helped them.
Yeah, I mean, of course it hasn't. They should have just published freaking Bayonetta. Like, Bayonetta was a good game. The sequel was probably going to be a good game. I don't understand why they didn't pick it up to publish it.
I just didn't have enough faith in crazy Hideki. What is it? Kamiya? Hideki Kamiya. Yes.
I don't know. Whatever. Whoever is pulling the strings at Sega needs to like get some fucking sense.
I'll tell you what.
They bought Atlas.
But Atlas, no, they bought Atlas, but Atlas is still autonomous. They don't. Yeah.
Seems like the smartest move they've made then in a while.
Yeah, let's get someone else to make money for us.
I'll tell you why. It's because it didn't appeal to a wider audience.
Oh, are you being Jim Sterling?
Yeah,
it was a very bad attempt.
Like, I got it, but I heard it. So.
Yeah, every week. I mean, it still does pretty good stuff. I've yet to really disagree with. Much of his stuff.
Mean, I love Jim Sterling. I watch all of his videos. He's such a consumer activist and stuff.
I like his reviews. I like that. I'm not a big fan of him when he rambles on podcasts because sometimes it gets really randomly weird, and then he starts talking about Angel and Buffy, and it's just really weird. But
I've never listened to any of his podcasts.
It's really weird.
But I mean, my big concern with Alien Isolation, even though it does look like a good game, is 2 things. One, the team behind it has never had experience, to my knowledge anyway, of doing a survival horror game before. And 2, the last game that they came out with was Total War Rome 2, and that game was a disaster.
That game was the one that was incredibly unoptimized and had the zombie-looking.
It was very buggy, terrible AI. It was incredibly unpolished. It was just a mess.
Is Aliens, whatever it's called,
Isolation,
is that like an asymmetrical multiplayer game?
No, it is a first-person survival horror type game.
Outlast.
It just sounds so much worse than what I was expecting. I was hoping that there was going to be like 3 or 4 people, kind of like Evolve, where there's 3 or 4 people and a 5th person who controls the alien.
No.
Like that
that's
idea
pretty much
sounds
just
amazing.
Evolve.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was gonna be Evolve.
Oh, they
Like,
did.
Miguel, for pre-order DLC, it turns out that third alien is the alien from Alien. So there you go.
I can't count past 3. I'm to 3. So.
If you pre-order now,
Soldier 1. Hold on.
if you pre-order, you get the Chestburster DLC, where you get to play as the Chestburster and run around and eat cats and stuff.
Granted, it's a whole lot of like squishy stuff for like 20 minutes, but then you get to play for like 2 minutes at the end of the round. So.
And, that new MMO space game, the Space WoW game.
WildStar.
They got a new pet or minion or whatever, like the non-combat little things that follow you around. It's called like Face Nuzzler or something.
That's not the Face Nuzzler.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yep. There's been some reports today that after Microsoft's acquisition, I think of Nokia, that there's a lot of early stuff going around saying that Microsoft's going to lay off something like 300,000 employees or something like that. Which is just crazy.
What?
Yeah. It's part of their new CEO that they've got. The one who's talked about possibly gutting out Xbox completely.
Well, no, that was a rumor before he got hired as CEO. After he got hired as CEO, he made a press conference. In the conference, he said that the Xbox basically has a home at Microsoft and it's not going anywhere.
Still, we're talking about downsizing a lot of stuff and saving the company something. I think the quote was something like either it was $60 or $600 million or something for the year by getting rid of all these employees, which I suppose some of it's some overlap with the Nokia acquisition, but
that still doesn't really balance it out because, from what I'm aware, Microsoft spent billions, like several $1 billion, on marketing the Windows 8 tablets and stuff.
God, yeah, get rid of that entire department.
Like, is the Xbox being profitable? The Xbox One, is that profitable for Microsoft right now?
It should be now.
It should be now. I've heard, actually, one of the interesting stuff I've been seeing recently is that the PS4 has been lagging in sales over in Japan right now.
Well, yeah, but
they did release it later.
It's true, yes, but it's like they're not seeing nearly the sales that they saw with the American release. Like, Japanese are much more hesitant to pick up this new console now. A lot of them are saying either that the PS3 is still good enough, there's a lot of games still coming out for it, or mainly that the PS4 doesn't have games right now.
Well, that wasn't surprising, at least from what I've heard. Like, Sony themselves said that they don't expect it to sell nearly as well in Japan before it even came out in Japan.
That's so strange to me, but
I mean, it makes sense over there. Like, there's a much larger emphasis on portable games than there, like, on cell phones and on the 3DS and Vita. Less so on the Vita, but like, I can understand why consoles, because even the Wii U isn't selling as well over there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're just waiting for that white PS4 to come out.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Marble white PS4. Well, you know, as soon as Final Fantasy 15 comes out, those PS4s are going to be flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I saw a quote there saying it all depends on what Square Enix does, which is
exactly.
It's very strange for me to hear.
Square Enix, like, Japanese people are all about some Square Enix. Square Enix is basically the second coming of Christ for them. Like, if they release, like, Kingdom Hearts on anything, they'll eat it up. If they release, and like, the PS Vita hasn't gotten an exclusive Kingdom Hearts game, and nor has it gotten an exclusive Final Fantasy game. Like, the PSP had Agito 13, Type 0,
right,
and Birth by Sleep.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And then the 3DS is getting Final Fantasy...
The new, whatever the thing that's supposed to look like Monster. I got to correct some numbers I just said. So, okay, the employee count at Microsoft as of June 5th is 127,104. The report that's going around right now is saying that they got 30,000 of those employees from Nokia. They're looking to let off 5,800. Okay, I got my numbers mixed up. So
almost 6,000.
That's still almost 6,000 people, but. So not 300,000. God, I really should read these stories more before I start saying stuff.
What's reading? We're only in university.
All I do is write stuff.
Past university.
I think it's just DJ right here. Hooray! Wait, no, you're still doing papers, aren't you?
Yep, just a little bit.
Okay, so yeah. Um, yeah, so, okay. I don't know. All we ever hear about in the video game industry are all the layoffs. Although, apparently Volition, the publisher of, or the developer for Saints Row, owned by Deep Silver, they're looking to double their studio, because apparently Saints Row 4 did so well.
It was that good.
I don't know if I would say it was that good. Like it was well reviewed and it sold really well. It's just that the majority of the work for that game was already done as a DLC expansion for Saints Row 3.
That's true. I mean, then again, you did look like you were having a lot of fun.
I had
like how you
so much fun.
You said, I don't know if it's that good, but it was well reviewed and it sold a lot of copies. And I'm just like, to most people, that means it was good.
Yeah, like it did have a kind of budgety-ish feel to it. It felt a lot like Saints Row 3, but if it was your kind of humor, it was right up your alley, and it was pretty good, especially after something like Grand Theft Auto 5. But that was
Grand Theft Auto 5.
That was before.
It was funny, but it was not over the top wacky like Saints Row 4 was.
It took me forever to finish that game, and I still own that. I have no desire to visit it. I'm so done with open world stuff right now.
I've been done since I was born. I just don't like open world games really.
I still
haven't finished Watch Dogs. I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish that, and it's just.
Watch Dogs had some serious problems though, but that was, I mean, Ubisoft.
I didn't have any of the problems that people did with it on launch compared to. I read a bunch of reviews of people with the PC version, and at the end of the day, it just was kind of underwhelming for me. And that has made me hesitant to get hyped about anything that Ubisoft releases. So
it's okay, man. I'm pretty sure Far Cry 4 and Phantom Pain will break you out of that open world.
Phantom Pain. I mean, that's Konami, and that's Kojima, and that's all kinds of.
Oh my gosh, your sweetheart. Let's make an exception.
I still love Metal Gear Solid 2 so much. That is so.
So, okay, speaking of Metal Gear, I didn't want to go off on this tangent because it was a tangent, but now
we only got 20 minutes left here before you got to do your appointment thing. But
remember how we were talking about Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes and how I didn't like the price point for it, right?
Are we still talking about this?
No, okay. So Sony this week has the PS3 version of Ground Zeroes and the HD version of whatever
HD collection that has 2, 3, and Peace Walker.
No, the HD version of Peace Walker.
Yeah. Okay, so half of the HD collection
for $19.99, and I'm just like, I would buy the shit out of that.
That's a good deal.
But I would not spend $20 on a fucking demo.
Well, it was more than that, and it was a standalone. If it's packaged with something, you might as well pick it up.
Yeah, both of those are great games.
I don't know. I still don't. Whatever. Ground Zeroes can suck my dick.
Think of it this way: it's technically only $10 because if it's 20, then technically you're paying 10 for Ground Zero.
You know who else charges $10 for a demo? EA and their MMA fighter. Whoops.
Oh my god.
Sorry guys, that was a mistake. We didn't mean to charge you $10 for an actual demo.
They should have just called it early access. Then everyone would be fine with it.
Yeah, I swear we start seeing early access. We haven't seen anything that's technically early access on consoles, right?
Well, Xbox One said that they are going to be having early access in the near future, and Sony said that they're playing around with the idea.
Betas aren't even betas anymore.
They're totally marketing stunts.
Yeah.
I mean, the Destiny beta actually sounds like a beta, but
Warframe.
It's still in beta.
Warframe is still in beta, and there's talks that fucking. I'm sorry for all this cursing.
Yeah, you were swearing up a storm.
I am, but like.
I've just been so mad these past 2 weeks. This is what happens. If I don't do a Hangout every week, I start cursing like a sailor.
Purchase Digital Extremes, and I'm just like, the game hasn't even fucking come out yet. Why the hell are you buying them?
I didn't realize that Okay, so the 2K bundle was this week on Humble Bundle. I didn't realize that Digital Extremes worked on BioShock 2, but there you go.
I still don't get it. Well, like, I get why they don't release games because then they can't be held with any liability if they're like, oh, well, you don't like the game, well, it's still in beta. But, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Personally,
release the game.
once you start charging money
Yes,
in your game, that game is out. That game, for all intents and purposes, is released.
I agree. I think that, and it was like that too with some of the Blizzard stuff, which they say you get a special reward for helping us test the marketplace. But
Oh,
like
the
Hearthstone,
Hearthstone.
right? You do that. Hearthstone, you can do that right now with Heroes of the Storm, which I've been playing that game for more than a month now. That game is done. It works. It's great. It's fun.
Okay,
Release
so
it.
we just want to make sure that we can take your money.
Pretty much, we just safely. Even though we've had multiple like pay cards, and we think we've gotten, I mean. Granted, it only takes one like screw up to really mess up.
Screw the pooch.
Exactly. Like look at Outland, that awesome sort of Metroidvania. I hate using that word, Metroidvania.
I mean, but that's what the subgenre is called. So.
I guess, but it's something like writing articles. You're never supposed to use that because it confuses the non-gamers. But anyways, that game came out during the Sony outage, and that wasn't Outland's fault. But that game essentially like made no money for the or not nearly the target developer, just because one of their main platforms was sailing.
I mean, but that's like terrible luck, though. You can't really blame anything else but terrible luck.
I mean, yeah, and it turns out when your pay card siphons all of the money you were supposed to be to some Nigerian prince that sent you the emails, that's terrible luck too. No.
You're racist. Why does he have to be Nigerian? Does Nigeria even have a kingdom?
It's always a Nigerian prince in email. At some point they did, and clearly he just needs to go through a little bit more paperwork to get his crown back. If I send him the money, he's good for it, and he will send me back. He'll pay me back tenfold if I only help him out with this. So I'm gonna be on that.
Oh, well, how noble of you.
Yeah, right. Okay. Miguel,
maybe
what
you could ask Chris to help you with that.
He's supposed to actually be back in the fall from his internship in Texas, so that should be interesting.
Who?
Chris, he was one of the guys who's living in the apartment here. He's from... Yes, he's from Nigeria. TT is from Congo. Okay. Miguel, is there any other news stories? Like I said, while you've got with the 18. What is the thing that you've got after this? I was confused.
Okay, I said I have an FC meeting. FC stands for Free Company. Free companies are the guilds from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, you have a raid. You've got a raid.
No, I don't have a raid.
I'm
the raid leader in my company, and we're having a.
Are you going to go?
We're having a forum today.
Okay.
My raid days are Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Got you. So no hangouts then. Yeah. Any other big news story stuff that you feel like? I feel like there was one other thing you were talking about before.
Non-video game related, but game related. Freaking what's it called? Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition starter kit came out today.
Cool. The basic rule set is free to download right now.
The basic rule set came out last week or the week before. I think last week. The starter kit that comes out today comes out with a few more rules in it. It has monsters, creatures in it. It has an entire 70-page module, and it has 4 pre-made characters, so you can just jump right into the game, which I'm super stoked for. Apparently, this version of D&D is I've
heard it is not like 4th edition. And
no, 4th edition was the largest departure from D&D ever.
And everybody hated it, and nobody ever played it.
Well, that's not true. It was its own kind of game. For example, if you were a kind of person who was more familiar with video games, let's put
it this way: can you play 4th edition without miniatures? That's what I thought. It is not non-miniature friendly. Okay, that's the polite way of putting it. Can I have all the fights take place in my imagination?
Yes.
In the theater of the mind.
The theater of the mind.
Well, that's the word that we like to use, us D&D players.
I don't think that there's much else, way that you could say it. So.
Well, 5th edition, it's a lot more streamlined. It's like you took. Actually, a lot of older players consider it like a streamlined version of Advanced D&D, which was the second D&D rule set. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's now is such a good time to get into D&D, especially if you're into RPGs. Because
I might try to convince Trey to do that. I keep trying to. We've been doing Monsters and Mutants on Wednesdays, and I keep not being able to go to every session, but it's cool because I'm an amnesiac time traveler, and I will just blink out of existence if I can't make it that week.
What?
Okay.
What? It's X-Men. We're playing X-Men, but with dice.
Oh.
Oh.
I have an issue with X-Men, but I'm not going to go into it. Whatever. Oh, other news. Thor is a woman.
That's right. Thor's a woman.
Thor is a woman.
She's not Thoretta. Oh wait, who? Wait, did you hear about how we found out about this news?
I found out through Colin Moriarty.
Whoopi Goldberg was the one who was talking about it.
Whoopi, she's still relevant?
Yes.
I love me some Whoopi. And I don't mean sex. Whoa.
Okay, this is what it says here. It's a huge day in the Marvel Universe. Thor, the god of thunder, he messed up, and he's no longer worthy of holding that damn hammer of his. For the first time in history, the hammer's being held by a woman. That's right.
So does that
It's
mean
not the first time in history that it's a woman. It's actually more like the third time in history. Because there was a female Thor. Actually, Wonder Woman had Thor's hammer when they did the crossover, and also Storm had the power of Thor back in some universe.
So does that mean that in Marvel Phase 3, you think Chris Hemsworth is gonna get even hotter?
Oh my! You mean he's gonna get like voluptuous and stuff?
Yes, if he changes into a woman, he will.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean you would like that.
I really like Chris Hemsworth right now as it is.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. I like Loki.
Of course you do.
I'm all about some Loki.
Tom Hiddleston is the easy pick from, especially if DashCon has taught us anything. Yeah. So cool. Anything else?
Some clarification on the Destiny beta, what you can expect from it. So
4 story missions.
4 story missions, 4 competitive multiplayer maps, a co-op strike, and even more of the world to explore. So I guess you can just run out into a desert.
You know what that means? You know what that means? It means
nothing.
Kill 6 of this minion and then turn in the quest.
Well,
and repeat over and over.
Those quests, like the kind that you're just describing, like the more like MMO fodder quests, are just like they aren't like the main quest types that you do in the game. Those are just like you're adventuring around in the world, and since you're adventuring, you can just do this quick little thing over there. It's not like you have to do these to grind.
It's those things that when I was playing the WildStar beta that just sapped all my interest out of that game. Like I can't kill 8 boars anymore. I'm done. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because they're innovative. You can kill 51% of what they prescribe you. And
then I get 51% of the reward. Here's 51% of this, green chest plate.
Great. How do I get the other 49%?
Yeah. Apparently kill more boars. But yes, I get what you're saying.
I'm excited, and like the companion app that goes along with the Destiny beta.
So there's been more clarification, Matt. What exactly are we getting from this app?
Okay, for example, even while you're in game, you can the app will have a full 3D render of your character on the app. You can change your equipment while you're on the app. So let's say you're playing the game. From what I understand, you can just be on the app, and your entire loadout can change while you're on the app, and it'll reflect instantaneously in the game.
I have no faith in this feature at all.
Well, one of the things that I like is that you can attach your PlayStation, your Facebook, and your Xbox Live accounts to it, and you can chat with all of them.
So now your mom can chat to you on Facebook while you're playing Destiny.
Well, no, while you're on the Destiny website.
Mom, I'm in a strike group. I can't do this right now.
Oh my god.
Okay. So this is really off topic, but I totally forgot about this, and I wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
So maybe about, let's see. Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, something showed up from Fox News. They took Bioshock Infinite's logo. And
what was the story? It was like some sort of War on America type thing again?
It was called Defending the Homeland.
There you go.
And it was so
blatant
meta, because you have this game where it's about toppling an extremely right-wing society.
Talking like racism that's essentially learned through the course of the system there.
And then Fox, who is arguably they are right wing. They love saying that they're right wing, but the fact that they're blindly right wing and stuff like that, and they kind of manipulate people. And not in Canada, they're not considered a news station, for example.
And clearly, what they stole it from, and the irony that goes into if they had done even just a modicum of research to see what essentially they're aligning themselves with. Pretty hilarious.
Seriously.
I hope that there's
Poetic.
an intern, that an intern did that purposely.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Father O'Reilly is going to build himself a station, or I guess a flying news station.
He
Wait,
doesn't fly.
We're gonna
Wait
have to
a
hire Troy
Wait a
Baker.
minute. Wait a minute. That card.
We're gonna have to hire Troy Baker to take down Fox News.
Oh, God.
Even Ken Levine posted on his Twitter saying, "It's not the irony that the Fox News thing bothers me so much, but it's the typesetting."
Did you see that the post that Ken Levine put up that Bioshock Infinite Vita version was going to be a overhead strategy game?
Yeah.
That there's so much potential there.
God. Everyone just really wants Final Fantasy Tactics 2.
Yes, we'll get into this after you have to leave, but
And not any of the Tactics Advanced shit. but
Divinity
Tactics
Original
2.
Sin is really, really cool as a turn-based strategy type thing. It's a fun game. But
Is it
Yes.
like an RTS? No, not RTS, but like
not real time. It's turn-based. So think like Warhammer,
Nope.
like measuring distances and stuff like.
Oh my
but
god.
no, but it does that all in the game for you. So
I thought you meant like Warhammer, like the game. I never played the game, but I've played the war game before.
I'm talking about the board game with the figurines and stuff.
Yeah, the war game.
Yeah.
It's the war game genre.
No, I mean if anything, it's like a better successor to Baldur's Gate or Neverwinter Nights. It's like very much that sort of isometric.
I'll wait for it to go on sale.
Yes, you should. Because I want to find somebody else who has it because there's a co-op campaign feature.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect Divinity. Is the like I always talk to some of my friends about how like they don't understand that I like to play certain games on console, certain games on my Vita, and certain games on PC.
Mhm.
Like that would be a game I would prefer to play on PC.
There's no way you could do this on a console.
I know. I mean, even if it were on a console, like if they managed to do something funky like Diablo or whatever,
Mhm.
it just is more at home. Like MMOs, they're just more at home on a PC.
Yeah.
I think action games are more at home on a console and.
It's like there's so many nice details though, because it's all like using the environment to your advantage. If a bunch of enemies are in a rain
It's
puddle,
so
you can
pretty.
shock it. You can shock it, and they all get stunned. There's a perk you can get so that you can talk to animals in the game, and they all have personalities and hints and stuff like that. It's so great.
This sounds like D&D.
It's a lot like it's
Well, I mean,
Very,
everything is basically like D&D. That's a Western RPG.
to a degree, yes, but it's really really cool. It's definitely worth checking out on Steam right now. Last chance, Miguel.
What else are we going
anything
to talk
else?
about?
I don't know. What else? I feel like there was one other thing that was worth.
Well, we were going to talk about Wolf Among Us, but
Oh,
Miguel
yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
want.
you don't need to worry about that. Anybody? I guess you're not going to watch the international. Anybody watching the international for it all this weekend?
Oh, the Dota thing?
Yeah, one championship's done, so we get another one.
Nope.
I can't say.
Yeah, none of us played Dota. Like we play MOBAs. But...
I mean, I do play Dota. I just don't play it very well.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm
and
stuck.
I'm-
Stuck
Yeah,
in Euro hell.
Yeah, you're in Elo Hell and League, and I've dropped League pretty much for Heroes of the Storm, which is good.
I really
Fun.
want to play Heroes of the
I
Storm.
really want you to play it with me. It's fun.
Even one of my friends who isn't like too into MOBAs, like League of Legends, he loves Heroes of the Storm. He just says it's so much more intuitive and there is so much less snowballing. Snowballing? Yeah, snowballing.
Snowballing. I mean, I had a really good game last night where we snowballed pretty hard, but that's because the other team really messed up. But I digress. Yeah, cool. Well, Miguel, I'm going to let you go. You can just hang up from this cast if you want so that you can go do your free company stuff. I hope that your raid goes well and that you get plenty of epic loots tonight, even though I know that's not what you're doing.
Well, I'm just gonna put in a plug. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, I'm at ReaderXP.
So you're actually trying to get the whole Twitter thing going now?
Well, I mean, I'm using it so much more for whatever reason. I might as well.
Yeah,
If you want to hear about my opinions on why certain games suck, or my
everything's just terrible. You
Everything
can't,
sucks.
No positive.
I have been so pissy at Sony recently, and I feel like such a spoiled first world baby.
Yep.
Because they're like giving me everything I want, but I just want more. All right, why don't y'all go bye?
Yep. Take care.
Later.
Okay.
Now
So
that
I
we're
guess.
alone, Kevin, I have to tell you I love you.
Oh, okay. That's good because Miguel, currently has a huge crush on me right now. So there you go.
Yeah, I know.
But anyways, So Wolf Among Us, I think it got done. Was it last week actually?
I think it might have been earlier. Yeah, it was last week.
Okay,
Sorry.
I only finally got around to finishing up the last episode, or I actually marathon. I had not played any of Wolf Among Us since the first episode back on its initial release. I did not play 2, 3, 4 up to
Ooh,
it.
you're lucky then.
Yeah, so I marathoned from 1 to 5, and I gotta say, I think it worked out pretty well by doing that. But you've played them as they've come out, right?
Yeah, and I kind of wish I hadn't.
So why exactly do you wish you had not?
Well, I mean, it's just like any TV show. You know, you play the next episode, then you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, just waiting to find out what happens next. As opposed to if you marathon it, then you don't have to wait.
So I would debate that like tactic, at least for marathoning stuff, works better for some genres compared to others. I have playing through Walking Dead season 2 right now, and I could not marathon the original Walking Dead. Like I had to take a day or two just because it got too. I had to sit and contemplate emotionally like what was going on there. I feel like if you look at the episodes of Walking Dead, usually there's a good amount of time that passes from one to the next, and they feel somewhat self-contained in their stories. There'll be like months that pass in the story, right?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, and so that I feel like that works well for that. Wolf Among Us being portrayed as a mystery whodunit kind of thing, where details and facts are important as the story like unfolds. That and you need to remember like minor things that happen from episode to episode. Like,
Right.
I would agree with your sentiment that like I feel like if I had played this months apart, I would have forgotten stuff, and even previously on the Wolf Among Us wouldn't be enough for me to like keep up with the stuff. Whereas marathoning it back to back, like I felt like I got a very long, complete sort of novella experience.
Yeah, especially since some people complained that episode 4 kind of sucked. It's not that it sucked; it was really short.
Short as the criticism. I liked episode 4 a lot myself, but
Yeah, I liked it. You sort of got a better idea about, why things were happening. And, I mean, they didn't announce it yet, but it seemed like the way that episode 5 ended left themselves open to continue with the season 2 should they desire to.
there's a lot of room within the Fable universe where you wouldn't necessarily have to follow Bigsby, but I mean, that might be another weakness I think of this is that I feel like The Wolf Among Us as a whole was very unfocused because the cast of characters was so huge. It was just this menagerie of different, fables and stuff like that. That, some would dip in and, like Jack Horner, for example, the blonde guy who wouldn't shut up in the bar.
Right.
There's no real reason for him to be in this story at all, but you just throw him in there because hey, why not?
Oh, that's true. I mean, in Walking Dead, it made more sense because it was a group of survivors, and you knew most of the other people outside of the group were, dead.
Right.
They were dead people. So, whereas in this, yeah, they would just, throw in like random characters from Fables and stuff just to sort of have them there.
I'm not even sure if like Bloody Mary is in any of the other Fable stuff though. As like a villain, she's pretty intimidating and okay. I mean, we're not gonna go into big spoilers here for episode 5. We could do a whole nother hangout for that if we wanted to sometime.
Sure.
But the fight and action sequences I feel like are as strong as they have ever been in episode 5.
Yeah.
The series.
It was. Yeah, I mean, you finally got to see Bigby become
in his final form is Super Saiyan. Yeah.
This isn't even my final form.
Yeah. Yeah, his ultimate spirit bomb attack type stuff was just poetic and awesome and worked great.
Yeah. So did you? I guess I can't really ask.
No,
that.
yeah, you'll have to ask me some other time.
Did you choose Paragon or Renegade?
I mean, I was all Paragon, and then some stuff happened, and I was like, "Whoops! The only woman I love is Beyonce."
Okay.
Have you seen that? Okay, so that's. There's this really good Photoshop of like some of the last scene stuff that happened in the last season of Game of Thrones with a well and an uncle and a lady. I've only ever loved one woman, and my favorite is there's been a shop of that. It's I've only ever loved one woman, Beyonce, and then bro.
That's funny.
Yeah, so they clearly were watching some Game of Thrones when they did the last part of that.
Which is funny because they are working on a Game of Thrones game, so
There you go. More wells for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. Some of the voice acting stuff is starting to get a little bit too recognizable for me. The fact that I can identify that Beauty is Melissa Hutchinson, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're not Clementine. Or that frog is also Melissa Hutchinson. And like, you have a bug collection, but you're not Clementine.
Yeah, she's also Ashley from Resident Evil 4.
And then Bluebeard is Lee.
Is Lee, yes. Big B has done some voice work in League of Legends, actually. I believe he's Shaco, Karthus, and Rise, I think I want to say it is. Yeah.
So did you play a violent Big B or a good guy Big B?
I played good guy Big B because I feel guilty if I start doing bad things. I was about to choose the Renegade ending, and then at the very last moment, I was like,
No.
nah, I'll not feel bad, but I just feel like that's too easy. So
Like, I was all on board for that final character's like argument and stuff like that, and being like, okay, maybe you win under technicality. But then when he starts threatening my life, because at one point, like, if you wait too long, he'll threaten your life. I'm like, okay, all bets are off. Never mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, so there's that. I've been very pleased though with a lot of the characters and stuff like that. I would debate that. I say debate, even though we're on the same page here. This has been Telltale's like strongest game aesthetically. Like, this game screams 80s, and the color palette is incredible.
Yeah, and I mean this is just a personal thing for me. I could see arguments for both sides, but I think Big B is a lot more interesting of a character than Lee was in Walking Dead. Maybe that's because you got to know him a bit more. Lee was sort of, you got some backstory on him, but ultimately he was more of a blank slate left for the players to sort of decide, whereas Big B sort of already had a reputation.
Yeah, Big B feels a little more multifaceted, whereas Lee is, yeah, I agree, more tabula rasa. He has some baggage, but it doesn't necessarily affect how you have to play him.
Right.
Whereas Big B feels like a little bit more of a struggle with a lot of your actions that you're doing, other than smoke cigarette, because you can do that anywhere.
Did you light up at the end of episode 4? That's what I did.
Yeah, no, I lit up at almost every chance I got. I made sure when I smashed up the strip club and smashed that cigarette machine that I got the pack of cigarettes out of it, just so I would not run out of Huff and Puff. So, yeah.
Yeah, because only Big B smokes that crap.
Clearly. No, yeah, so, I mean, but just like even little moments from that, it's just like, yeah, at $25, I think is great. Now that all of it's out, if it ever goes on sale, I think it's a steal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, I'm definitely hoping that Telltale can maintain this quality, even though they have a lot more projects on their plate. Because I know they're doing a Game of Thrones game. They're still doing. Are they still doing?
Tales from the Borderlands is one of the things that's on their plate.
They're still doing season 2 of Walking Dead.
Yeah, we're up to episode 3 of Walking Dead right now. That was another one that was on Steam sale, and I played the first 3 episodes of that, and it's still really good. I think that, like I said, I think that Walking Dead is more catered towards the episodic nature, so I don't feel like Wolf Among Us is a great buy now that it's all out. I was a little bit more hesitant, and I would have been like, wait and see. Mm-hmm. Walking Dead, I much more encourage you to pick it up right now and wait for the next 2 episodes that are coming out, just because that story style lends itself to that. And we've already had so much built. Like, you've probably already gotten it if you're at all vested that we've had 5 episodes of past season, a bridge between season 1 and season 2, which we've actually seen how that plays out now, and now 3 episodes of this season. So,
did you go back and replay 400 Days?
I did not. I've read about some of the extra choice stuff. That's another thing, I guess, about Telltale games that I encourage people not so much to read and replay like right after it comes out. I think that kind of spoils some of the illusion of the choice there.
Does it? I mean,
Oh, how does it affect the
Yeah,
season 2 of
because
Walking Dead?
I know depending on what you, how you play out, some characters will decide to go to this other camp, and others will not, depending on just some of the
Right.
choices you made. Some of them did not seem very obvious playing 400 Days, and I kind of wanted to go back and change some of my decisions because I feel like
You were gonna need a guide to figure out exactly how. Like some characters have a much larger proclivity to going to the camp or not. It is possible to get, I think, all of them to go there. As it stands, they're kind of minor cameos at the moment. If they play out larger into the rest of the season, I would be very surprised. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I know I was upset because I really liked Vince, but because I picked the wrong guy, he didn't want to go to the camp, so I don't know if that makes a huge impact or not.
Like I'm playing season 2 without any of the import stuff, and Vince was one of the characters that's imported by default. I did not see a lot of Vince though.
Strange.
So, yeah.
Well, still, I still wanted to go back because I haven't started season 2 yet.
400 Days, it's pretty good standalone. Like it's if you have not gotten into I'm pretty sure you can actually get the first episode of the first season of Walk Dead for free now still, but I think it's a fun little sort of side story type thing. But yeah, I would definitely put it on your wish list on Steam if you see it go on sale, or just pick it up whenever because it's good. It's really good.
It's cool. Yeah, because I mean I know a lot of people like playing as Clementine. I know some people were sort of hesitant because she was sort of like your moral compass in season 1, and now you can sort of corrupt her in season 2 if you really want to.
She is still mostly pretty Paragon. She has some funny lines that you can hear her do, like "You should be nicer to me,"
Right.
and there's some like cringeworthy stuff that happens there. There is some kind of messed up stuff that can happen with Clementine. Not anything illegal, or it's just weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. And intriguing, I guess, in some ways when you think about the post-apocalypse, but that's about as vague as I can really be about it.
Okay.
I'm making it sound worse than it is. I don't know. Yeah. So Wolf Among Us, very cool. Walking Dead, very cool. Have you played anything else recently that's worth getting into reviewing?
Nothing that hasn't already been out for a while. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Tomb Raider recently.
That's right. There was like an anniversary sale type thing that had a lot of that stuff, and from the Steam sale too. You get all of it for less than $20 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. This isn't the updated version.
The PC version of Tomb Raider, it is not the definitive edition.
It is not. Okay, because I mean, it looks better on
Yes.
PC than it does on consoles by far, but I wasn't sure if this was like their upgraded version or not.
Now, this came out at the same time that the original console 360 PS3 version came out, but this version had a bunch of different stuff. The most, I think, notable thing was the tress effects, which was NVIDIA's experimental hair physics. And if you turn on tress effects, Laura's ponytail will go crazy in the wind. It'll just go, you'd be like, look at that hair. Look at it. And I'm pretty sure you can mod it still to make it even better. Here's the thing I'm a little bit weird about. Like, so for the definitive edition, they remodeled Laura's face to be more realistic or something on the PS, but that they didn't do anything like that for the PC version. So, yeah.
Okay, that's sort of strange.
I mean, that was one of the things when we were watching VGX way back when that they were like, "Oh yeah, we're redoing her face."
That's weird.
Yeah. There's still a few more days left on this. I think you might be worth checking out. There's a 2K sale going on for Humble Bundle right now. It's got BioShock 1, BioShock 2, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, BioShock Infinite, Mafia 2, Spec Ops: The Line, and The Darkness 2. And today they just released all the original XCOMs, and that's for paying $20.
Mm.
It's something like $200 worth of games or what have you. You can pay cheaper than that if you just want like BioShock 1 and 2 and The Darkness. I think you can, like, that's $8 or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah, it's a pretty good deal that's going on, so I think I'd just point that out. Yeah. Anything coming up soon that you're looking forward to, or?
I don't think so. I mean, probably the next big thing that'll be on our plates, assuming you send me one, and I hope you do,
Oh, is the
is
Destiny beta stuff?
Destiny beta.
Yeah,
I'll
bug
be happy
me
to
about
talk
that.
about that.
And then next week is DLC for Dark Souls 2, and I'm going to be doing playthrough stuff of that. And I guess now that your room's getting invaded, we will say adios. So, yeah, if you want to find out more stuff about us, you can check out our YouTube channel and our blog, pixelloadout.blogspot.com. We're going to try to get another one of these up next week, if possible. We're getting a little bit better about this, but we're still pretty bad at it. So, yeah. Anything else you want to throw out there?
We'll have to get Trey in here so he can say it instead of you, because...
Well, you're a lot more motivated, I guess, to pick up webcams, but Trey is... I can't get Trey to budge on that stuff, so...
Dang, this one actually wasn't too bad, and it's pretty good quality for only $30.
Yeah, cool.
So.
I'll have to get you to send him a link or something like that, but yeah, we'll get that to work out.
Okay.
All right, cool. Anything else?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, cool. So yeah, make sure you check us out and take it easy.
Laters.